Sweaty but ready. It's been 90-some degrees here for, I don't know, a few days. Not much going on. Looks like it's going to rain again. But I'm down. Everything's drowning anyways. How's it going tonight? The auto for the photo flower that was in the tent was harvested, was dried, and weighed out at 93 grams. Pretty damn good stuff. We smoked some of it. I was ripped for hours. Other than that, we started another pumpkin, another giant pumpkin. I'm going to grow like 2 or 3 of them right now and then slowly pick them off. And that hopefully will slow down how fast the big one is growing. Because it's been splitting, as we've had too much rain, and then when it hasn't been raining, it's been complete sun. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm looking at a picture now. There's a few half full decent jars, so I'm happy about that. I'm uploading a couple of videos right now. There's one on there right now that I released today, announcing that I'm going to be putting on a couple of videos. One of them's going to be of the pumpkin. One's just of some random wild flowers I found that the bees were in today. And and then one's my white clover for the bees that is like 9 feet tall. What the hell? Looks like Jason maybe heading over. No, that's the wrong one. Leaf on that plant, I guess. Probably good enough for making pre-rolls or something like that. I plan on just turning all the shake that I end up with, trim or whatever, into, or not the shake, any trim into fertilizer next year. That's what I'm using this year. That's what I've fed everything with so far. It's worked out pretty well. I haven't noticed any deficiencies, but I'm also feeding compost teas that I'm making out of blood meal, bone meal, some clay that I harvested and dried out, and then ground up. Some mosquito frass. Oh, beep. And then my homemade nightcrawler castings, we've been using the homemade biochar. I'm going to be starting making some more of that here pretty quick. For next year, I want to have a good amount of it. I want to pass it out to the people that are growing in the area. If you're not aware, this is the second year of legal Minnesota grow. My two biggest plants are 10 feet wide now, and I'm keeping them down to, the biggest one is, I suppose, right around chin level. And then the shorter one that is going to be probably the showcase is, once it's trained down again, it's only going to be 2 or 3 feet tall. So that means it's going to be all premium pickings. How's it going? Sweaty? Been working all day. Yeah, so this is me. Not doing bad. I've had 2 hip replacements after late stage 3 colon cancer that almost killed me 4 or 5 years ago. Well, it was during COVID, right at the beginning of COVID, when they started locking up all the hospitals and not letting anybody in to see their family, is when I spent my 4 days after surgery. 7 months chemo, 2 different kinds of chemo. I'm very lucky to be here. So this channel, I've not ever done anything technology. My phone is a 15-year-old flip phone. I came up with this idea that trains out cannabis plants. Any apical dominant plant, almost any, now it won't work on a tomato plant. Tomato plant just wants to fall over anyways. But anything that wants to drive itself towards the sun, I can train out. So imagine, I know exactly what the cannabis does because I grew one last year. It was an accident actually, but it's the best cannabis I ever grew. And that gave me the inspiration to grow them wide. So anybody that knows anything about cannabis, I grew 2 9-foot tall, 14-foot wide trees last year. But the only premium parts of that plant were the outside tips, right? So I also at the same time had a kind of a mutant plant grow, and it was shorter. It was more of a flat canopy. It was actually short enough to where I stumbled backwards working on one of the other plants one day, and I sat on this other plant and busted half of it off. So anyways, I came up with this idea. I used it once. It grew me these massive ass plants, but it left a lot of, crappy stuff left over. This other little plant that grew flat was all premium stuff. Almost every bit of it was premium. So now that I've dived into YouTube, Buddy gave me this thing that got me onto YouTube to where I could watch, but I couldn't communicate. That gave me some pointers to where I knew that my idea was going to work well enough to where I took the videos that I had of those big plants, got a computer. Actually, the computer was gifted to me. I was trying to work on this other computer to get it to work, and I wasn't telling anybody about this because it's a big secret. A computer was gifted to me. I got on YouTube, took my evidence from last year's grow, which were just a couple of videos. They're some of my original videos that are on here now, and put it out there. I'm like, okay, this is what I grew in accident, these great big massive things, using my invention. But I can also apply that to making shorter plants and stretching them out. So I told everybody I was going to grow a 20-foot wide cannabis plant at my waist. I'm at 10 feet wide now. The one is right at my waist. I'm uploading the video now of me, talking about it, sitting in front of it. The unfortunate thing is I do have a camera here. Like I said, I don't know technology. I've never used technology. I know how to get this thing. I figured out enough to be able to work this and be able to take the chip out of it and get it on this laptop and upload it to YouTube. But I really don't know how to work any of this stuff. Barely. I'm teaching myself. So I'm on like my third or fourth generation of this invention. I've got these huge plants. I have 52 subscribers, in which most of them are YouTube creators themselves. So they're not the average Joe. They're guys that are creating cannabis content. Some of them aren't subscribing under their own name. Some of them are subscribing under their wife's name, but they're saying, hey, I can't, devote my name and my reputation to somebody who's brand new and only been on a computer for 5 months, okay? This is my very first computer. Like I said, this is all I had for technology. The only reason I have this is so my mother can get a hold of me. So at the end of the season, I hope to have the evidence that says to people, or at least to maybe these people that have influence and that can have and manufacture of, I don't know. I made this thing. I can make them out of metal, but they need to be made out of plastic, I think. And so far, I've started training fruit trees. Okay, imagine a future that has fruit trees that are, I don't want to say square, but better lack of a better term, they'd be square to where you could drive a tram and harvest your fruit. Pear trees here one that I started training this year. I have a pepper. All right, so that is an example. So since I've had to be like guerrilla growing in the past, my grow spot is in an area that I can't get Wi-Fi service. So this is my example that I can show easily on computer. That's how tall that pepper plant is. These branches here should be pointing straight up, but my trainers trained them down. So imagine somebody that's growing in a tent or sometime in the future maybe, to where instead of growing plants up because you have to have a light space and all this, you grow them out. And on this plant right now, there's 20 blossoms getting ready to turn into peppers. Some of them are already turned into peppers. So that's kind of the idea. On cannabis, it's going to work much better. Now, a few reasons why you want to do that. One is on cannabis, they have what you call bud rot and powdery mildew. And the more vegetation that you're all clumped up with causes that kind of stuff. So spreading it out, impedes that a little bit. Now also, the size of your buds matter in that bud rot stuff. The big ones like this get a lot of bud rot. They don't get a lot of air inside them, right? The smaller ones are less susceptible to bud rot. When you spread those plants out like this, instead of getting your cannabis plants want to grow like a tree, so it'll grow like a Christmas tree. Instead of that, we're spreading it out. Instead of one great big bud, you got a bunch of littler ones. So that keeps them from molding, getting bud rot. Other than that, apical meristem, apical dominant plants. When you cut that top stem off, it sends signals to the rest of the plant that they should kick in. So you got all these other buds. Instead of this one growing straight up, it sends all its energy to all these other ones. So now, since they're all at the same height, they all get the same amount of nutrients and same amount of treatment from the plant, and they all end up being top quality, or at least the best quality that plant is going to be able to produce. Because ultimately, it's up to genetics. Now, my genetics say that it's freaking hot in Minnesota. And muggy. Humid as hell. Muggy. Oh, shoot. We're looking out the east from here, and the west is black right now. Anyways, what's everybody smoking on tonight? Let's see what's going on over here. Leave a comment in the comments. Tell me what you're growing. What do you want to know? You got any questions? There's our pepper plant. Trained out. It's got about 20 flowers on it. Training it with my trainers worked, but when I tried to do it like old school with tie downs, or I used a rubber binder, high stress training, low stress training, all that stuff failed. It all snapped off my branches. The only thing that worked was my trainer idea, which is cool, which backs up kind of my idea that it's a good idea. These plants here do not have the fiber that cannabis does, so you cannot train them. I shouldn't say, you can't train them with traditional techniques. That's why you don't see it. Okay, so you go on to the Fresh Princess. She uses aeroponics. She starts clones in a tower, and then she transfers into aeroponic pots. All her plants are growing up, so she's got to continually be moving her lights up. With this here, I can stretch those branches out, but then once it gets a certain amount of width, I can turn that branch around and send it back towards the middle. So somebody needs to come up with a manufacturer for these. I can't do it. I don't know anybody. I don't have the cash to do it. Anybody wants to be a partner, once they see all this stuff at the end of the year, if you think you've got an idea, or think you've got a way to get it manufactured, it's not going to be hard to sell. I know a few people that have YouTube channels, and like I said, a lot of my followers are people that are waiting for this. I told them what I plan. I'm not going to make 20 feet. My branches got froze off, whatever, early this spring, so everything kind of got kicked back a little bit. But if they're 10 foot wide now, they'll at least be 12 or 13 feet wide, I would have to say, by the end of flower. And I'm just going to keep knocking it down until they don't start standing up anymore, pretty much. Oh. You're so kind. It's probably the cannabis. Hey, Germinator, what up? Yeah, it's Minnesota boys. Yeah, well, because when you put one of them t-shirts on and you try and take it off in this damn humidity, they don't come off, right? Thanks for tuning in, Germinator. Let's see. Yeah. So WhatsApp and Telegram. I've heard of WhatsApp. I don't know what Telegram is. Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. But here's the thing. I'm surprised I spent this much time on my phone today. But this fall I'll have a lot more time to do that kind of stuff. So I will. I will tell you. I will learn how to do something like one of them things. Instagram, or what did that say? No. WhatsApp or Telegram? No, I'm game. It just it may take me a while because I'm still trying to figure everything else out. Let's see. I'll check it out. So yeah, this thing here, most of the time when I'll hit a button, it'll hit it like 3 or 4 times. And on the predictive, W, and I hit W, it gives me like 14 W's in a row, and then XX, blah, blah, blah. So it's really hard to text on this thing, but, I'm down. Why not? Like it just tried to push in an E and it just went wacko. For such a simple text, it takes me forever. You know, people tell me I need a new phone, and they're right. I should have a new phone. But right now, I'm trying to learn this, I'm trying to learn that. This thing, which is, 6K, so at least I'll be able to use that for a while. Who's been stopping in on the chat? And what you growing? I wish that rain would hurry up and get here so it'd cool off a little bit. Ugh. Let's see. We're going to mix a little bit of Jason's with a little bit of what was left over of mine and what Andrew handed over to me. Mix them up, and we should be good for a while. Yeah, all I got going right now is this thing right there, pepper plant. Beautiful though. Man, blew my wrist out recently, so it hurts like fuck. Oh, it's not swollen up or nothing, but man, the whole thing right around here just feels loose. Ay, ay. Yeah, so shout out to, let's start with Germinator, Growing Old, All That's Green, Dr. Danknugs, Grambo Grows, uh, Dude Grows, Scotty Real 420. Boy, they say Grandpa Grows. King B. Thurgood Jenkins. What's up, Doug? This is Doug. He's a little rabbit catcher. A little bonehead, too. That was the sis over there. Just walk through. Other than that, yeah, like I said, I got a couple of videos going. If you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor, get a colonoscopy. He's a wild man. Let's see, who else? Man, there's so many. Well, anyways, to my bros, Andrew, DJ, Jason. Anybody that's growing my stuff out there, hopefully you're doing well. If you need any compost teas or anything. Oh, thanks. Yep. Another one of my customers passed away a few months ago. Well, not even a few months, a few weeks ago. His brother comes in still. Ay, ay, ay. Can't live forever, but some people get lucky. Queen Manic, how you doing? Queen Manic 420. Good to see you. Yeah, well, thanks. You know, we all have our ups and downs. Tell you what, things are going better these days than they have gone in the past, no matter what. So I feel sorry for the future, kind of. Okay, let's see. So my emojis on here just show up as little black dots, so I didn't get that. But um, okay, so damn, mosquitoes are coming out. Ugh. Let's see. You like that? Yeah. Queen Manic says flip phone nostalgic. Yep, it's quite old. Quite old. But it still works for the most part. Buttons are wearing out. Um, so let's see. Yeah, I'll have to try that when I'm not going live here. And then I'll have to figure out, let's see. Yeah, I have to look at those other texts again. Like I said, I don't know anything about these computers, so I think I can download something. I'll just have to look up what those other things are. We'll figure it out. Uh, is that the WhatsApp or the Telegram? I would totally do that. Just takes me a long time to do anything on this damn thing. Most of the time I'm misspelling because I learned how to type on a typewriter. And you know, when I was in school, they had computers, but it was just for the computer class in high school, and I never took that. So, um, other than looking at my B blog from this one dude, you know, I don't do nothing on these computers. So we'll figure it out, I'm sure. You seem persistent. That's what I said. You know, what I've been looking for is help with technology, with this channel stuff. I want to start another channel that can be monetized, possibly. Not that I want to do it for the money or whatever, but maybe for promotion and stuff like that. Uh, Somebody to help me with the computer stuff itself, um, and like running the boards for computer. Help me get this thing hooked up to my laptop. There's a way to do it. I got a wire, but I've tried and it doesn't. I can't. It's the instructions say you plug it in. It's supposed to start up and work, and it don't. I can get it to. I can get this here onto a TV and get this to show on a TV, but I can't get the laptop to use this as my camera because the laptop camera sucks so bad. I was going to try and see here on this other TV how it's coming in, because usually the laptop gives me the picture of the laptop. I don't know. Seems like it's different on TV. And if I move around a little bit, it gets all blurry. Of course, I don't know how to use this thing either. Or it doesn't want to work for me, one of the two. All right. Boom. So one of my other, the YouTube channel or the YouTube name I use on this other Wi-Fi box or whatever it is Backyard Guy. So if you see Backyard Guy on any chats, it's me. Well, I guess you won't even see it on chats because I don't have the ability to chat on this Android TV box. But I do have the ability to watch what I'm recording now. Okay, so it's getting a decent picture. Just want to shut off the sound though. Boom. Anyways, shout out to Queen Manic. We're gonna get out the Ren and Stimpy dirty ass bong. This is what it looks like right now. All chopped up. And ready to grow, ready to glow. Like I said, it's still probably 85 degrees here, and the humidity is probably, I don't know, around 80%. So, the plants I have going right now, if you're not familiar with my videos, I have a cream cheese that's 9 or 10 feet wide, 4 foot tall. I have purple punch lemon drizzle that's like 3.5 feet wide and like 3 feet tall. I have my bag seed from either the White Rhino or the power plant from last year. That's about the same size as the purple punch lemon drizzle. I have, it's either an orange gasm or a golden goat. It's 3 feet tall and 10 feet wide right now. And then I've got these other two are getting shipped out. It's a Vegas greasy grape and another one that I'm not completely sure of. I thought it was going to be an autoflower, but it never flowered. So I don't know what that one's going to be. It could be anything really. It's got some nice structure. Spaced out nodes, but it's growing long and lanky. I didn't bush it out much. It's got probably 6 colas or so, maybe 8. But that one's getting shipped out to a buddy of mine's sister. And then we're going to split what comes from it. I can only flower 4 here. So I do have several other people growing, but I mean, they're growing for their own. They want to donate me a little bit to show me what they did and how they did with the genetics I sent with them. That's fine. They didn't get charged anything for anything, you know. I wanted to spread the love. And I think I did. People are pretty happy, man. I got one guy that never grew anything in his life, and he's all pumped up about it. And he's got an employee that's all pumped up about it. Uh, 5 or 6 other people that I gave out clones to. Uh, multiples to some of them. Yeah, I don't know. So far, so good. It's just a long season, man. I could have put them plants out a month later than I did. Oh, but I don't know. Like I said, things have been going good. Family's healthy. It's all that matters. Had a good time. We got lucky drying stuff last year. Everything cured well. I was able to give a bunch of it away, and most of it, some of it I didn't realize cured quite enough when it went up. But like I said, it was free, and I smoked every kind of it, and it was super smooth. Um, didn't have a lot of flavor, a lot of it, but that had to do with genetics, I think. Yeah, other than that, the bees produced 5 gallons of honey so far. They've probably got another 5 or 10 in there for us. Um, we're going to start coddling our uh, giant pumpkin starting tomorrow. Supposedly, this rain is supposed to cool us off a little bit. The corn's doing crappy. I just picked a zucchini today. I picked a tomato a couple of days ago. We got a couple of cucumbers today. Uh, the raspberries are about done. The pears are looking great. The persistent plant, our Minnesota wildflower that's growing out here, it started blooming. Harvested nightcrawler castings today. Got about 3 pounds probably of dried nightcrawler castings. Uh, and we're going to start working on biochar just so we can get a little bit of a head start on that before fall. Once fall hits, I'm going to be pretty busy harvesting everything. So, spending time making biochar isn't going to be number one on the list. Yeah, so Queen, if you're still listening, I hope you're doing all right, girl. Keep your head up. Dream pleasant dreams. Keep working out. Up until I had my last hernia here, I was working out quite often, probably every day. I'm still very active, but I do need to start working out again. So I kudos to you, girl. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Anybody that's still listening, some of the bonus things about the gadget is it doesn't stress your plants out. You don't have to top your plant. You can bend it over with the gadget, and then all that energy will still be going to those other buds. You don't have to cut the top off. Just bend it down, and anything that's at that level are going to grow at the same rate. And I've done that. I've done that with clones. I've done that with seed plants. Um, yeah, and then you got the, you know, first of all, you don't got to get on a scaffolding to go to the top of your plant. You don't have all the waste of all that, you know, lower quality, let's call it, stuff. Although, you can use it for extracts, there is a use for it. If you end up with that stuff, do not throw it away. Use it for something, even if it's fertilizer, okay? And watch my videos. I can show you how to turn it into fertilizer. Anywho, Tom, there, I appreciate you. To all my old friends out there, I appreciate you a hell of a lot. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I would have never made it to where I'm at right now. Although it ain't so impressive, but um, maybe in the future will be. Uh, if I had the means, I would do it and I would make it myself and we would put it on the market. It would go worldwide. Not for everybody, but anybody who wants to grow a pepper on their deck or a cannabis plant in their yard under a hedge, or they don't want it to grow over their freaking 8-foot freaking fence. I can keep it down at the ground. I'm showing you guys right now how to do it. Well, I'm showing you that I can do it. So anybody that's out there, you got a manufacturing plant, plastic, it's a plastic gadget. Pretty much like the smaller ones, for the smaller plants, you can close in your hand. So I don't know. It seems wacky to me too, man, but the results, I think, speak for themselves. And a couple of my subscribers are thinking too that if what I'm saying comes to flourishing, uh, it's going to be dynamite. It's going to be exactly, people are going to be able to tell and they're going to see it and they're going to be like, holy crap, this dude fucking figured out something that nobody else is doing. People are getting some results similar. Let me not make any mistake. They are showing plants that are stretched out without trellising, without tying down. They're fracturing branches and letting those branches, heal themselves and come back up. Mine doesn't cause that setback. It doesn't stunt. Any stunting is done intentionally because it's unavoidable for the results you're trying to achieve. For the most part, like I said, I can bend down to top very easily. No stress. Anyways, I think I've had about enough. I'm going to go put my plant back outside and see if it's going to storm yet. It's 8:50. I appreciate everybody who stopped in today. Hope all is well with everybody. Be nice to each other. Adios.